Hi there, thanks for joining me. Happy 2023. I can't believe where the year went. 2022, wowee, was something else. Gotta tell you, at least for our family, I found it more hectic and stressful than the 2 years of COVID lockdown. Those were peaceful. And except for worrying about loved ones who caught it, I rather enjoyed the lockdown. Anyhow, here's to, for all of us, a good year coming up. I don't know if you recognize this. It's my 2022 bullet journal. You'll see that it's missing some center pages. As ever, I remove the blank pages that didn't get used. I don't necessarily use a bullet journal daily. I use my journals. Here's my new one. I got a nice green, and it's got kind of a reptile. I think I'm going to like this one. Anyhow, it's a big one, so let's hope I go through it. Hold on, let me show you, because they're going to go downstairs and get tea-dyed. I take the blank pages out of my bullet journal, and there's a lot last year because I didn't get a lot done with it, with a new puppy and then me being sick for quite a bit of it the year. I had a lot of empty pages in it, but I like a new book. I just do. So I treat myself and get one anyways. And this one I save because it's still got important information in it. Even tax-wise, I will refer back to it. So this one gets put away, and this one comes out to play. I move some things over, like I move over. I keep a list always of my prime, mostly antique, some vintage books that I pull from. Pull folios out of, so that I can just at a glance see what year they were printed in. Like when I use my Manual of Gardening, 1911, I know that. I don't have to go hunting for it over on my wall. Or my Roget's Thesaurus, however you prefer to pronounce it. I've always pronounced it Thesaurus, but some people pronounce it Thesaurus. 1923, little things like that. My Ready Reckoner, 1916. I have a mushroom book that I haven't really gotten into yet, and it's 1901. So, anyhow, this just makes my life easier, and I've now given myself more room to write more on the back, and more room to write here, because it was the envelope. These books always come with a pocket, either in the front or the back. You know what? I used to use a Leuchtturm, and I found I prefer a thicker page, and this is 120 GSM. So this is a heavier page than a Leuchtturm. So the only thing that I miss about it is I like, let me see if I can find a page that doesn't have any private information on it out of this one. Hold on. Okay, this one doesn't have any private information. I liked this book. This was Time Works Wonders. And so if you're wondering, Amazon, it's a nice book. And the paper's really nice. It's nice and thick because I like to sometimes work with a magic marker or not a magic marker, a micron. And I found that quite often a micron will bleed through a Leuchtturm and will also bleed through, there's another popular one. Its name is slipping my mind right now. I loved this one because it had the little polka dots already in place for tearing the corner off. I tear the corners off, but you can tear even without the dots. That just made it easier, but I will still tear the corners off so that I can get to the page I'm working on faster. I find it works better than these things, which is what I'm going to cut out right now. I never use the bookmarks that come with these books. So let's take these out right now. And they won't get wasted, fear not. You know what I'm going to do with these. These will go into somebody's junk journal. There's a silver one and a black one. So they'll get used into a little bow or something. So yeah, so I find that I don't need bookmarks because I tear the corners off, and I always work from. I use the front part as to-do lists for me, for daily dates, and I have to fill in. Goodness knows I have to fill in all the birthdays. There are 18, 36 plus 14. Whatever 36 plus 14 is, plus 2 more, 36 plus 16 birthdays that I have to remember in a year that this will get filled in. I also keep it in my Google Calendar, and so my phone reminds me. I have it set up to give me a 5-day notice, a 3-day notice, and a 1-day notice of grandchildren birthdays coming up. The adults, if I have trouble and it slips my mind, the adults just have to need to learn to be patient. But I do not want to miss out on a grandchild's birthday. And with 18, even just that is a lot to keep up with, because that's more than a birthday a month. So I have to fill this in. So the front, I work both sides and meet somewhere in the middle. Hopefully this year I actually will meet in the middle, because like I said, last year, in spite of COVID rules being lifted, I got much less done. As you know, the back is where I will start using. I devote a whole page each time I work on a new journal. It gets a whole page, so I can keep track of dimensions of the book, how many signatures, how many pockets per signature, was there anything specific about the book that's noteworthy that I want to remember that I did, or anything that I used in it. Did it have a theme? Was I, in the end, I'm always very happy with my books, or they don't go out. So was I very happy, or was I ecstatic? That sort of thing. I also, the year, how old the book is, and then all those little details, and I just move back to front with the books I'm working on, front to back as my appointment calendar. And I've never needed more than one book in a year. Like I said, usually there's maybe about this much bullet journal paper left over at the end of a year that I pull out and tea dye, and that's why you will find bullet journal paper in the journals I create, because some people might think, hey, hold on, this isn't old, this isn't secondhand. Well, yes, it is secondhand because it was in my journal. And rather than, pack away an old journal that's still got empty papers in it, I'd rather make use of those papers. I love dotted paper for writing on. It's just so much more versatile than lines. And my brain needs the dots. I'm one of those people that I do need something in order to keep writing, or else my writing will do this, or do this, or do this. So the dots are all I need, and that way if I need to, I can write in this direction. I can draw squares better if I'm drawing myself out a template, or if I've got an idea in my head. I love a dotted journal, and I love a blank appointment book because, like I said, sometimes I can go days, weeks, not putting anything in my journal, especially wintertime, if I'm just mostly in the house. And now that I don't have to be running out the door to my mom, there's less my time's more flexible, and I don't have to be so rigid with my schedule. I mean, when my mom was alive, I was probably there, if not every day, every other day. And there were certain things that had to be, or else her poor little clock was off whack. Like, she knew every Thursday we would go to the library, and she knew that every Monday I would take her to the grocery store. She always needed less and less things, but in her mind, she knew she needed to go to the grocery store. And for a little while, she knew she liked to go to the bank to get her book updated. Fortunately, she forgot about that in time for the bank just stopped having books be updated. And that would have been really, really hard for her to grasp that, why won't the bank update my book? Because that was a really important thing to her, especially because she was a retiree she worked her career at Bank of Montreal. So that was really important to her. Anyhow, I'm wandering off topic, but I love a new bullet journal to start the year, and it just feels right. So I'm happy about that. Now, guess what we're going to work on today, and I'm going to need to start. It had an old page in that other book, but because I didn't finish it, I have to start again. So we might as well get started on that. I'm not going to use this side. I find sometimes there are things that I want to be able to keep a list of. So I will usually skip a couple of pages just in case I find that there's a list I want to keep of things. And I will tear these corners off already so that it will get me to the page I want to be at. So let me open this up to, let me go find it. Ta-da! Roundabout Papers. It's time to finish Roundabout Papers. I know I said that I was going to finish that one last Christmas journal, and I needed my standing table back, and it was just covered in boxes of Christmas. I needed my table back. So for the time being, I've put it away, and we'll see if maybe a little later, maybe I'll feel like Christmas in the summer or something, and I'll work on that journal then. I'm going to try really hard for this year to get started a little bit early on my Christmas journals. rather than... I just always wait until I'm in a Christmassy mood, and that usually doesn't hit me till American Thanksgiving. And by then, it's too late to be able to make as many journals as I want to make. Hopefully this year will be a little bit more, because our little fluffy lady is more and more patient. And now that she's becoming an adult dog, there's more and more daytime naps. She had a time where, well, she's still quite a bit into that time. Phenomenal sleeper at night, and thank you very much. I'm grateful for that. So grateful for that, because she'll sleep 12 hours a night right from the start. But for some reason, as a puppy, they say puppies are like babies and that they need several naps a day. Well, our little girl was not taking several naps a day. And I was getting no break. The only break I was getting was that, like I said, she loved a good night's sleep, and she would sleep from 7:30 in the evening till 7:30 in the morning. So, Roundabout papers. Roundabout papers. And it's $18.99. So, 124 years old. Wow. Wowee. Now, I'm just going to write down what I already had written down here. The spine is 1.5 inches by 7 3/4 inches. And it looks like I was planning on putting 9 signatures in. So then what I do is I'm going to start keeping track of how many folios are per signature, and I'll eventually put my total down here of how many pages, and then I'll start a column somewhere over here. So see what I mean by the dots being helpful for me, because I can start columns, and I'll keep columns of especially pockets. I always like at least one pocket per signature, at least. And I also, there are a few things that I always like to try to always have per journal. I can't, I'm not 100% consistent with this rule, but I like, whenever possible, every journal to also have some kind of an envelope in it, some kind of tag, various tags. So I like to keep track of where I put them, what signature. Always a Two Nanas bookmark. And then I leave myself room down here so that I can write about if the book had a particular theme. This one is going to be an all sorts book because it's Roundabout papers. So it will be an all sorts book. But I still, just the strengths and the weaknesses for each journal. And then eventually what will go on these pages, which is why I really can't, I wish I could show you a used version, but I will write down who purchased the book, and then I will get the pencil work part of the finances written down here, which is why I also keep it with my tax papers. afterwards, because sometimes I need to refer back to my bullet journal when it's tax time. Lovely tax time. Pardon me. So there we go. So we're, let's measure her again, because I don't have her surface dimensions written down here. So she's 5 1/4. I hope this is visible. I'll lift it up. 5 1/4 by 8. So if you can see here, this is basically how each page for a book will start. And sometimes, every once in a blue moon, I'll do a whole bunch of books, a series of them all at once. Like I still have, I think, 19 volumes of an encyclopedia. So like last year I did 5, or remember I did the 4 dictionaries last year. I'll squeeze those in so that I have all 4 in view on a spread, and that way I can keep track of who's got what, and I just find a way to squeeze it in. But when I can have a full page dedicated to a journal, it's much nicer. So that's, this is what I will always start my new year with. And you'd think that someone who makes junk journals would make a junk journal to be her working book. But no, I use a bullet journal, and I still use, let me grab it. I still use my binder for other things. Which is why I can't open it either, because I'm not sure what would be visible. So today is also the day that I will go through this, empty it out. It will also go in with my my paperwork box for tax season, and I will start with an empty binder. For my Better Homes and Gardens, my working desk book. So this gets used too, still. And if you look through my videos, if you're new here and you look through my videos, there's a video from a couple of years ago of when I made that, because the insides actually are quite cool. Every time I open it, I still love it. I'll glue things in that people sent from Happy Mails, and little notes and cards that people send, and I have a page in it that's just quotes that I find particularly inspiring. So yeah, so I'm not sure how I am for time. I'm going to take a look and see, and if we still got time, we're going to see. I've lost track of what I got done with the Roundabout papers. I got her out yesterday just to sort of get a feel for her again, because it's been so long. And I didn't, yep, so I am still planning on, I am still planning on 9 signatures. So this is the one where I just love how that is looking, and I'm not so sure I want to put lace. I don't think I want to cover that up. I think I want to have more things sticking out. Like here I've got a tag that's going to go right into the, get sewn in to the signature. And then over here, the outside of the folio is, or the outside of the signature is actually part of what was a file folder. And I used my envelope punch that my crush gave me. And then this one, oh, I love this one. So this one is also going to be Signature 6. And this is that really cool file folder stuff that I found. And here's again where I use, I love using fabric as the hinge. It just makes fantastic hinges. And especially if you've got something tough like this. And I use the R for Roundabout papers because I have the whole alphabet. I got this whole thing had the full alphabet. Whoever got rid of it, there wasn't any letters missing. So I just, I'm in love. Anyhow, so I'm excited about this all over again. And I do think I want more little tags and things sticking out. And I know for a fact I have more room to play with adding more pages to her, because when I fit her in, look at that. That will get covered up. I've got like those, that meets. So I've got way more room to play. So because of that, I've been getting some pages out that I want to add in. And I think that's what I'll be finishing up with this afternoon. I found this book of paper dolls. That it's a one of those reprint books that pharmacies and that used to make really pretty little samples that would say visit McGregor's Pharmacy and such. So both sides of it are a cool thing how they did it. And it's just a really neat book that I'd forgotten about it. Let me pull it out so in case you ever see it, you can get it. And for the life of me, and please forgive me, if you happen to give this to me as happy mail, please know in my heart, thank you very much. I think I found this because that's my local store. But these stores exist throughout Ontario, so I'm not ruling out that someone who lives here in Ontario may have got it and sent it to me. Anyhow, so it's advertising paper dolls that you used to be able to get from stores that would make these. And children could play with them, but they were still advertisements. And they remind me of when I was a little girl. I loved when birthday cards had paper dolls in them, that the card itself was a paper doll. The front, you punched her out of it, and there was clothing on the other back side of the birthday card. Oh, I loved paper doll birthday cards. I was always so happy when one of those was in with my birthday cards for the year. Anyhow, so I'm going to put this in as one of the pages because I want her in the center of a folio or center of a signature, so that whole thing is evident. And then this can be collaged on. Oh, and this is what happens when you have a puppy in your studio. Jeepers. She's downstairs with her dad, which is why I'm enjoying some peace and quiet right now. So I've prepared some pages so far. This is from that small version of Edith's book. It's a paperback, so it's not the signatures aren't sewn in, they're glued in, but they come out really nice and easily. So I think what I'm going to do is rehinge them and put some of that in. I'm trying, one of my personal challenges, I don't like to call it a New Year's resolution because for me I always end up breaking them. So one of my personal challenges this year is to start using the beautiful papers that people have shared with me and not covet them, but let them flow, because then it flows back to you, right? So, a page out of a typing book. I forgot the awesome pages that were in this text block, because I hadn't gotten into the text block yet, which is so rare for me. That's usually one of the first things I start digging into. Here's some pages from Jen Wagner in Germany that I want to use one of these pages. I love when I do this for myself so that I remember who sent me what. And now, of course, do you think I can find those pages that I wanted to show you from the text block? Because they are so cool. Here they are. And I had forgotten about them. This is from the actual text block that was in Roundabout Papers. And it actually has fold-outs. And look at how neat that fold-out is done. And I've got to remember that that's a doable option for a fold-out, is to do a double fold. Isn't that neat? And there's a few, and there's some really great illustrations in here. Here's another fold-out on that side. Isn't that neat? That never occurred to me. I always will do a single one that would be like this. But this shows that I can use like legal-sized tea-dyed paper in a smaller book and just have more fun with the folds and like the tip-outs. The things an old book can teach you. And just some really pretty little illustrations. Look at that. Rough story of mother and child. Cute little illustrations throughout the whole book. So I'm going to try and go through it and pull them out, and as ever, send them along to the new owner. Look at these. Isn't that pretty? Send them along to the new owner so that that person can have fun making tags or doing whatever will be. This one has got 2 cool front pages to it because I think it was a compilation of stories. And I think it was really unusually sewn together. And I think they had leftovers of some stories and thought, let's just put them all together and make one big book. Because this is a different title to, see, this says The Complete Works. And then this one is this one particular story. But they both have the printing date 1899 on it. So I'm thinking I might find a way to use this in the first signature and splitting this one in the middle and re-taping it on that side so that that's the last page of the book. So this will be the open side, and you'll see what I mean when I get it done. And I'm quite sure I am at my end time-wise, but at least I've caught you up to snuff. I'm going to get to work on what more pages I can be adding in to the text block, and And that's what I'm going to be working on this week. So hopefully I'm going to figure out what days I'll record on, and we can have time together then to talk. Thanks for joining me. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you enjoy what I do. It's usually quite relaxed. I usually turn on my camera and chatter while I work, and there's no rhyme or reason. There's very few tutorials. If I happen to be working on something that I think you'll be interested in learning how I go about doing it, I'll explain it as I'm working on it. And that's usually how I go. So take care. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.